How many Bitcoins does it take to get some goddamn respect in this town?
What's going on, guys? It's K-Dub here with another episode of Crypto Zombie. So today is Saturday. Welcome back to the channel. Hope you're having a great weekend. Now, today's episode is somewhat important because I do think that Bitcoin is looking to make, let me give this a quick refresh, a massive move soon. You can see we're down 1.22%. Now, currently, having a look right now, Bitcoin is currently trying to push lower than the $8,000 level. We do not have much support here, and if we do go lower, we could wick down to some of these lower levels like we saw down with this $7,600 wick. That is currently happening right now as I'm making the video. Interestingly enough, though, this isn't necessarily a negative bearish video. I actually have some pretty interesting things I want to talk about today. Number one, we have a Bitcoin bear, actually two Bitcoin bears, who have recently actually turned somewhat bullish, and one indicator that is actually flashing a buy signal that has not basically flashed buy since the bottom at around 3,100. So that is probably the most important topics of the day, let alone the fact that we have very low volume and we're looking for a very big move. I would say by this weekend, definitely by Monday, maybe even by the time you're watching this video. So if that sounds good to you, well, you know what to do. Also, if you are not subscribed to the Crypto Zombie channel, well, bear market, bull market, weekend holidays, we do this every single day. And every Monday is the Ledger Nano S giveaway. All you got to do is drop a comment on any video. Doesn't have to be this video, could be yesterday's video, and you are eligible. And actually, one other thing I do want to talk about is also why we haven't really seen the institutions hopping on things like Bakkt. What's really happening? So definitely going to be a fun video today, guys. Stick around for that. So having a look what is going on right now, Bitcoin dominance is sitting around 67.2%. Now, you are noticing that even though Tether is down 0.14%, I want to basically point out the fact that we've pretty much had Tether's market cap slowly increasing basically during this past 3-month consolidation period. So I do think that traders are sort of holding Tether, anticipating for that perfect buy, and it may be coming sooner than later. Now, we did talk about some of those levels. I do want to talk about them again today. We have some amazing buy levels, amazing opportunities if Bitcoin does hit these levels, but having a look at this volume, absolutely abysmal. $175 million. I mean, I know it's the weekend, but come on, guys, this is crazy. So when you're seeing super low volume, absolutely neutral across the board. And unfortunately today we are seeing, looks like the market's getting a little bit bearish. We do have 53% over on the short. So it is going to be a very, I don't know if it's going to be exciting in a good or bad way, but it's going to be exciting nevertheless. So let's dive in and have a look. You can see we are still held down by the 200 daily moving average. By the way, guys, if you like rapid fire news like this, definitely drop a like because I'm going to pretty much rapid fire through the news today because I know you guys got places to be, but essentially, this is the situation, okay? Not much has changed. It's relatively boring. You can see Bitcoin has actually started to dip below this support that we put. So currently, there's not much supporting us down here. We might get supported around the $7,700 level, but the next one essentially is down around $7,629. And you can see we are putting in a bit of a smaller sort of descending wedge, okay? Now, if we do break to the upside, well, we could potentially get smashed out around that $8,700 level, but don't forget, we still do have the 200 daily moving average at around 8,500. But sort of the hidden bullishness potentially right now is the fact that the MACD looks like it's about to touch. You can see right here, if we can actually flip into the green, you may have something like this over here where it wasn't really a massive gain, but you could see essentially, Bitcoin put in about a 12% pop. So if you're using leverage, if you're doing a 5x or 10x, well, you could get over 100% gains on that play. Not financial advice because I do need to look at a few other things, but I know what you're saying. $16,000 by the end of this month. Is it possible? Well, I was playing around with the numbers you could see a little bit earlier right here. One example that we had right here when we were sitting around 7,500, well, we basically pumped up to 13,800. We didn't exactly hit 14,000. We did on some of the futures, but you could see right here, I mean, that was a 84% gain, and that was over the course of 22 days. So we don't have a lot of time left in this month if you do think we're going to get back to that $16,000 level. So by the end of the month, which is only, only 27 days away, if we were to put in an 85% pump, and I'm not saying that we're going to do that, but that would actually put us at around a $15,000 Bitcoin. But that would mean that Bitcoin would have to basically start pumping like today.
And we want to pump you up.
Or have one of those dead cat bounces and instantly start going to the upside. Is that possible? It is, but we have a very negative thing that looks like it's trying to happen right now, and that is a death cross, not only on the 200 and the 21 exponential, but this pink line right here represents the 50, and if we do have a cross, like you could see back here, well, that is not good for Bitcoin. But as you can see over here, we did have the double golden crosses, and that was actually very good for Bitcoin. So we are going to keep our eyes on this short term. You do not want these levels to cross the same way that we had them cross on the 4 hour. When they crossed on the 4 hour, 4 days later, we had a massive dump, okay? So keep your eyes on that. Once again, levels we're looking for, maybe the 7,200 to close out the futures gap. But on the bright side, we still do have a futures gap at $11,000, and I do believe we will go back to that. And I think that the next time, and you can remind me of this, take a screen cap, record this, whatever you want. I think that the next time Bitcoin goes above $10,000 and actually has a candle close on the daily above $10,000, I don't think Bitcoin is ever going to go down below 10K again. And I know we've said that a lot on the channel, but I really seriously mean it, because that would just confirm to me that the bulls are back. Now, looking at what Crypto Fib says over here, he does say that this candle is not closed yet, referring to the Bitcoin weekly chart, but it looks like a doji will form here. And essentially a doji candle just means indecision. You can see right here, zooming in, a doji means it's basically flat with giant wicks on both sides. So the market has no idea what they want to do right now. And he's also calling for a little bit of resistance around that 8.9. So I think between the 8,700 level to the $9,100 level, very difficult, right? We have that resistance, plus we have the bottom of the triangle, which was providing support, but we know what happens. Support usually flips to resistance when we're on the other side. Refreshing your memory again, as far as October is concerned, although October does tend to be a very positive month for Bitcoin, it tends to often put in negative gains when following the previous 2 months, August and September, historically speaking. But I just want to point out that this has been a very, very different year for Bitcoin. I mean, look at all the things that Bitcoin has done for the first time that it's never done before. We've fallen below the 200 daily moving average. We've put in 3 red candles, right? There's so many different things that Bitcoin is doing that honestly, looking at these past fractals at some point is not going to work anymore, which is why I am saying that I'm still looking at this $6,900 level for the ultimate drop on the 21 exponential. But once again, everyone's looking at it. And if everyone is looking at it, don't the whales, don't the smart money tend to do whatever everyone thinks is not going to happen? And I'll tell you what, I've been seeing people on Twitter, people on YouTube calling for $3,000, $2,000 Bitcoin, okay? When just a few months ago, we were going to break the all-time high. So this is showing me that there's actually almost a little bit too much of negativity, a little too much bearish sentiment right now. And I'm not saying that we can't go lower, but I wouldn't be surprised to see almost like a dead cat bounce, like where we just wick and instantly come back up. And so many people are going to miss out on that opportunity to put in those potential gains. And I do want to just mention that when Bitcoin gets to about 2 times its low after having a pullback, that tends to be great times to buy. This was actually pointed out by Nunya Business, and you can see right here, for example, just looking at the last time, I'm not going to go through the whole thing, but basically when Bitcoin had a low of about $163, it sort of became a great buy around that $327 level. And currently we had Bitcoin around 3,200. So is Bitcoin a good buy now around the $6,300, $6,400 level? Well, if we have a look at history, well, it looks like it could be. So if you do see Bitcoin going around to 6,400, well, I'm not telling you to sell the house and sell the kids and sell everything, but man, that might be a generational buy, right? So according to Crypto Michael, I do enjoy his analysis. He says even if Bitcoin goes down to 5.5 or 6,000, which he says he doubts it, and Ethereum down to 140, he says this would make an uptrend and bullish market structure macro-wise. And with the halving and a ton of events coming up, I can't simply be bearish on the macro perspective. Now, again, guys, on the macro perspective, zooming out here, everything's looking great. We're still in an uptrend. I mean, you can't deny we are going up. I mean, yeah, we could even come down somewhere to here. And you see what I'm saying? Even if you were to draw a line right here, essentially, we're still on track. We're still going up. So even if we come down here and, touch some of these levels, we're still fine. Now, if we fall below this parabolic sort of trend, well, that is an issue moving forward. Now, I do have this on the log chart, but essentially we're going up, guys. You can't deny that, right? But yes, I do agree with this, and I do think that these could be great buys. But the thing I want to point out is everybody that's been watching this channel, if you've been around here since, late 2017, early, even 2018, you know what's up, guys. But for anybody that's just joined, Bitcoin's prices have more than doubled in 2019. You can see it's still the best performing asset, outpacing the 31% returns for all the US tech stocks, which Goldman Sachs deems the best performing asset class year to date. Well, looks like Bitcoin is outperforming that. Also, outsized returns could attract interest from big investors in the yield-starved traditional financial markets. Also, where the heck are these investors? Stay tuned. I'm going to talk about that directly after this. But also, Masari, the guys behind On-Chain FX, they say that Bitcoin's price could actually rally to all-time highs this year. And I know what you're saying. Well, Bitcoin's never done that before. Yes, Bitcoin hasn't done a lot of things this year. It hasn't gone below the 200 moving average. It hasn't had a red candle close in an uptrend, right? And it hasn't ever had an all-time high before a halving. Well, why not just do that as well? Bitcoin might as well just break all the rules this year, right? So that is the situation. But having a look at the one indicator that has not been bullish since the bottom, we have the GTI Global Strength Indicator. Now, this was put on my radar over at Bloomberg. And basically, what is this? It's a measure. I'll show you right here. This is the indicator right here. The GTI Global Strength Indicator is a measure of upwards and downwards movement of successive closing prices. So you could see that it has recently printed a buy for the first time since the cryptocurrency bottomed at 3,150 in the middle of December. It was added that Bitcoin's ability to consolidate $8,000 is also a sign that Bitcoin's price has a building upwards momentum, and that is actually a good sign. The fact that we have been consolidating around this area, the fact that we didn't just get ultimately rejected and just massively dump. I mean, you saw the struggle in the triangle to try to keep Bitcoin afloat, right? And also Socrates, you might be familiar with him. He does a lot of videos with Tone Vase. I do consider him to be somewhat of a bear. I would say he's been very, very bearish in my opinion. He says the new Peterbolic SAR has been published and is available to the public for free. Wouldn't you know that it just flashed a Bitcoin buy signal a few hours ago on the daily? So let's watch and see if it plays out, right? Now, one other analyst out there, Mike McClone, he's a Bloomberg intelligence analyst. He also recently flipped bullish, saying that the Bitcoin maturation process will accelerate into this year as volatility declines in a more subdued price appreciation process. The initial euphoric transition to a bull from bear market is over, which should lead to an extended consolidation period, but with positive bias for similar reasons as gold. I just want to hop over here. Okay, so it looks like we're actually trying to get supported. Man, I honestly, it's getting crazy though. We're really trying to push lower on that support, so definitely keep your eyes on that. And also, if you are looking to long and short, I do obviously have a Bybit tutorial. You're more than welcome to check that out. It's also in my recommended videos on my channel. And if you guys are interested, I do have a link below. Helps the channel out. Doesn't cost you anything extra, but you don't have to use it. However, talking about our favorite perma bull, Tom Lee, he's recently had, basically, this was a 54-minute conversation with The Block, and he was basically talking about what's going on with these institutions. Where are they? Why are we seeing such abysmal volume on Bakkt and things of that nature? Well, he actually says that he thinks there's a mechanical issue for crypto. By the way, this is a summary. It's an hour long. I obviously don't have time to play it, but he basically says that there's probably also a size issue with the market. He says that he believes that the crypto space is too small for the institutional world. I mean, keep in mind how small Bitcoin is, guys. He goes on to compare Bitcoin's relatively small market size to that of gold, stocks, and bonds. So gold is 9 trillion, the stock market is 66 trillion, the bond market is 86 trillion. Bitcoin is not even 0.5% of the total assets. If you're asking someone to allocate 1% to Bitcoin, that's like triple the market weighting, like you're asking someone to make a massive bet even though it's 1% of their assets because Bitcoin is that small. He did say that he does think around 1% of US citizens own Bitcoin, but still he says that that's so small for an institution, you might as well just call it a hobby. So investing in Bitcoin is a hobby, maybe? That's what he says. Also, due to regulatory uncertainty, he believes that institutional investors will feel that they are taking on a reputational risk for extending into a market, right? You know, these guys that have these really just track records of being these like big traders, whatnot, you know, they say, oh, buy Bitcoin and Bitcoin crashes. They're worried about their reputation, right? Meanwhile, I'm just over here like, yeah, just dollar cost average. What do I care? But anyway, that being said, I want to get on to some quick news and get on out of here because it is Saturday and we got places to be. So it's official, guys. PayPal, we thought they were going to. It's confirmed. They officially withdrew from Libra. They didn't cite specific reasons why. They basically just said that to forego further participation in the Libra Association at this time and to continue to focus on advancing on our existing mission is our primary focus. So basically, PayPal has left Libra. For now, we'll see how that goes. But, you know, speaking of some of the sort of letdowns recently, we do have Bakkt. But here's some good news. We have the first Bakkt Bitcoin's block trade that was executed between digital asset merchant bank Galaxy Digital and crypto investment firm XBTO. Now, if you don't know what a block trade is, essentially it's basically just a privately arranged futures options transaction, or options, I should say, transaction, you know, separately from the public market. Block trades are often executed by large firms. So you can see last week they bought the first Bakkt Bitcoin daily futures contract. This week we executed the first block trade. So you can actually see over here that volume actually did increase right before the end. It was sitting at about, I mean, it is the weekend now. But yeah, so 46 volume, still relatively low, but I guess we'll take it. But hey, let's end on some good news. So Walmart, in collaboration with IBM, will use blockchain technology to track its shrimp supply chain. So there you go. We have shrimp on the blockchain now. This is reportedly the first time that blockchain technology has been used to track shrimp from India to an overseas retailer, but you know, we will take it. So that's it for today, guys. We have a very interesting few, I would say 24 to 48 hours coming up right now. We are sitting at a very interesting level. Bitcoin, actually, if we go back over here, where was it? You see how it was trying to break down and now it's trying to get back up. But see, the problem is we're being hit with this massive short-term resistance. So if we pop up, I would expect to probably hit the 200 daily moving average. So what I'm trying to tell you is we have a lot of resistance, but if we are able to somehow break through this resistance, you're looking for like a moonshot explosion, okay? If not, if we go to the downside, then like I said, we're looking at some of those lower levels, but ultimately Bitcoin is still in a macro uptrend, and I don't think that we're gonna stay down here very long. And no, I don't think that this is the end of Bitcoin and Bitcoin's going to zero. Clearly, I wouldn't still be making videos and talking about it every day if I felt that way. That being said, thank you so much for coming back to the channel. You guys rock. You're the reason that I do this every single day, even though the views have been a little bit crappy lately. If people are bored, people are bored.